Welcome to the Château de Breteuil. It was built between 1604 and 1610 under the reign of King Louis XIII, and it has always stayed in my family since then. The chateau today has been converted into a museum, but it's also a family home. And we tell here the history of France and the history of my family. And within my ancestors, you meet also people from England, people from the US. And so we are a very international family. My great-grandmother was American. And I had some British ancestors. The news of the chateau, again, it has 4 centuries, but my wife and I, we just took over from my father a year ago, so it's very new. And we recently redecorated some of the rooms with the help of the very famous French decorator Jacques Garcia. And this is what we'll see in a minute. We are 1 hour drive from Paris, southwest, in the heart of what we called the Vallée de Chevreuse, which is an exquisite place to come and visit because it's surrounded by trees and by nature, and we're very fortunate to be located in such a nice area. It doesn't look at all that we are so close from Paris. And so the architecture of the chateau is typical Louis XIII. It's bricks and stone, and the chateau was built at the beginning of the 17th century, but it went through a lot of renovation over time, and especially at the end of the 19th century. At that time, it was my great-grandfather, Henri de Breteuil, who was married to an American woman. She was very rich. She spent the money of her wife making his chateau even more beautiful and also creating very nice gardens, as we called jardins à la française. And so this is what we can enjoy today. So please come in. So welcome to the portrait gallery, where you find also my little dog called Newton. And here in this portrait gallery, we show my most famous ancestors, so who were ministers to the last kings of France. So we have Louis de Breteuil, who was Minister of Finance, François Victor, Minister of War, and Louis Auguste, who was Home Secretary. He was one of very close advisors to Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette. And in this room, you find 2 paintings of Louis XVI, which were given by the king to my ancestor, Louis Auguste de Breteuil. So now we move forward and we go to the 18th century, where you will see our latest room, which was just redecorated by Jacques Garcia, and I leave my wife commenting you this new project.
Welcome in this very 18th century place where Jacques Garcia just wanted to celebrate the 18th century within the portrait gallery which is going on. We have the daughters of Louis XV, and Louis XV was there just welcoming us. He's 5 years old, and he's becoming the king after the death of Louis XIV. This is the very 18th century within all the tapestries that you see from the Gobelins. We have the 4 season tapestries. Within also the carpet from Aubusson. And within, of course, this remarkable Bernard, Fable de La Fontaine, the tales of the La Fontaine, embroidered in this very beautiful furniture. This furniture has been in the family for the beginning and has been made for the place, as well as also this Chinese style lacquer furniture, which is very precious, was very, very precious in the 18th century. It was a pleasure of billionaires because the furniture was made in France and then lacquered in China, which was very costly. In the 19th century, it became less fashionable, so all the lacquer went up in the rooms, and we'll find them later. So you'll see also the remarkable pendule, which is nice from both sides and indicates, of course, times and months and days. We also evocate Émilie de Breteuil. Émilie de Breteuil, who was born Breteuil and was Marquise du Châtelet. She was also the mistress of Voltaire, but most of it, she was a very important scientist because she translated Newton into French, and she was very, very clever, had a man education. That we're very, very proud to have her in our family. That's why our little dog is called Newton, of course. Another atmosphere, we are here in the living room, of course. The Second Empire, the Second Empire style living room. Jacques Garcia made all decoration from this, but using our furniture. And this century and this particular period is very interesting because it's, you have a very dark atmosphere where the golden pictures take all their places. And it's a living room where the family is really evocated within the portraits of different members of the families. But also the furniture is very welcoming and warm, symbolizing these periods of comfort, of when aristocracy is marrying very rich inheritance. And that's what the Breteuil did. It's the reign of objects. You have lots of objects everywhere. And it's also a period where you have furniture from the 19th century, but also from the 18th century. You have also this 17th century bronze, the coffre Momo-Maya, the Japanese furniture from the 17th century, and the Sèvres, which was made for the Breteuil in the 19th century. So you see all comforts that is coming in this at this period, and you want to just read La Recherche du Temps Perdu the whole time here, and that's a place where people and visitors, they feel like at home and they just want to stay here. So at a time where the objects were really important, we liked very much these whiskey distributors, so it's very correct, you cannot drink too much of that. We also have the portraits of Marcellite Gardner, the American who married Henri de Breteuil after he lost his first wife that he loved. Constance de Castelbajac was a very, very, very beautiful woman, but she died of tuberculosis. And then he married Marcellite, which was also an orphan with three other sisters, and they came up from America to Po, where the American girl, very rich American girl, were offered to marriage to aristocracy and to people looking for wealth and offering titles, which happens with Marcellita when she married Henri de Breteuil.
So here we are in the gardens. We have beautiful gardens at Breteuil because my great-grandfather, when he inherited the house, he worked with the two most famous gardeners of his time, Henri and Achille Duchêne, and they created these beautiful jardins à la française, or French gardens, very strict, which are based on the works of André Le Nôtre, who was the gardener of Versailles. So after the Jardin à la Française, the French garden, we are here in the English gardens, which is called the Prince's Garden, after the name and the memory of the Prince of Wales, Edward VII and Edward VIII, who came to Breteuil. And we are very fortunate because, as you can see, this is cherry blossom time in this garden. So we enjoy these beautiful flowers from the cherry trees. I want really to invite you to come and visit us at Breteuil. We are open to the public all year round, 1 hour from Paris. And we welcome about 140,000 visitors per year. You can also organize weddings or, private events, dinners, receptions. And I really hope that you will come in the future to visit Pauline and I.